WordPress settings. Hello and welcome back again. In this video session, I'm going to briefly explain to you the settings available through your dashboard. The settings can be located on the left hand side menu options, and as you can see, we end up having all these general, writing, reading, discussion, media, permalinks, settings. Limit login attempts is a plugin. That's why we're seeing that menu option. Some plugins will put extra settings in the global settings menu option. General settings are perhaps common sense, but depending on where you're living on this planet, time zone settings can be of use to you perhaps. If you're thinking of allowing other people to register on your site, you can quickly define different roles. So basically this tells what they can do on your website. Can they only view it? Are they administrators who can make changes and so on, right? Time format, that may be of interest to you. Also, this site language. This site language option is actually very great part of WordPress. What it allows you to do is actually change your entire website to show you everything in a different language with just a click of a mouse button. So when we hit save, voila, I can now understand if my native language was in German perhaps. Make sense? So that's the power of WordPress. It's a website management system, as in content management system, that caters for global audience. And with just few clicks, you end up changing the entire usability of WordPress site. So, site URL surely is to do with your domain. The only additional insight that I can share with you is that whatever version of the domain that you would like to use, make sure you just use one version throughout your online dealings. Because as far as search engines like Google is concerned, that version compared to this is actually two different domains. But surely Google does a good job as far as understanding the difference. So let me hit save and let's try to understand the writings menu option. Now, before we dive in to these settings, this is how I would rather teach you about writing, reading, and discussion. Writing is to do with how you are writing the content. Then reading is to do with how people read that content. Discussions then is how people interact with your content. And I think reasoning about writing, reading, discussion settings along those lines will allow you to quickly master all the settings available here. Most of them are common sense. You have categories which we will explore later on. Formats, usually standards is good enough, but they are all common sense. It's the way your post formats should be rendered and so on, right? Link category, you probably will hardly use this, but that option is available for you. Post via email actually allows you to publish your content through an email, and that's a great feature. I hardly utilize it. I checked it out a few years ago, but it's not something that I would use. But it's available for you to make the changes accordingly. Once again, writing menu option, as in writing settings, is to do with the way you write your content. Reading is the way people read, as in the way that you want people to read the posts, the pages, and how things are visible on your site. As you can see, you can set different front page templates, or if you want posts to show different pages and so on, and on the front page you can quickly set that. Now, if you are utilizing WordPress as blogging platform that you know you will be pumping out a lot of content, then you may just as well want to show your latest posts on the front page when someone visits the front page of your website. You can say, okay, I have 200 posts, but I only want to show only 5 of them at most. The feed is the RSS feed, same is true. You can set that setting amount here as well. For each article in the feed, you can then say, okay, just summarize it or just give the full text. The feed would look like this. As you can see, this is just the XML feed that is syndicated. That's a great way for you to let search engines or other websites know that you have updated your website. So those options are available. Once again, it's the way that you want people or search engines to read your website. Discussions then is to do with the way people interact and comment on your posts and so on. The settings that you should definitely make sure that you always check is comments must be manually approved before they appear anywhere on your site. Because WordPress is very popular, there are a lot of comment spammers out there. In fact, there are programs just search internet for WordPress sites just so that they can spam the comments. So you always want to make sure you are in total control over the comments that appear on your website. It also has great settings for comment moderation, whereby you can say, okay, you know what, if the comment has more than, let's say, 3 links, that's a normal sign of a comment spam. So then just keep an eye on that. That's what you can do here. So you can also give IP addresses and so on. Avatar, Gravatar. Gravatar actually is to do with WordPress itself. If you do have WordPress.com user profile, then you can actually use your Gravatar profile here as well. But once again, you can make settings if you have R-rated website perhaps. You can change these settings, but I never deal with websites like that, so you may, I don't know. So general settings usually is suitable for all audiences. But once again, you can choose even your own custom avatar if you so please. Simply Google around as to how to set a different avatar for WordPress. So we can just hit save anytime we want to tweak any settings. Once again, make sure comment must be manually approved before it appears on your website. You can uncheck this, especially when you're starting out. Okay? So, media settings is very easy to understand. It's the way that you want to set the defaults for the way the images show on your website, as in the sizes of them. You can actually change the default uploads folder that the media that you upload to your WordPress site goes to a different location. But I strongly encourage you to leave things at default, especially if you're just learning about WordPress. Keep in mind, you can tweak that here as well. Yeah, another great feature is, yes, organize your uploads into month, year-based folders, which is actually a great feature of WordPress, and you have that option. Now, permalinks is a very, very, very important feature of WordPress. Now, yours may be like this. Or you may say, okay, you know what? I just want to keep things as this, as in my posts or page should show up like this in the URL. Okay. To demonstrate the point, let's open up a default generated page. Let's say we have about page, which is a default page, right? Let's change the permalink here. Let's hit save and let's refresh this now. Look what happens. It's not there. So this URL is not there now, right? If I Control U, you will see that I am getting a 404 server error message saying, well, this URL is not found. Let me go to pages, but that page is still there. If I want to view it, now I can view it because I've changed the URL structure, which is called the permalinks. Now, for best practices, the best way that I found was either you use post name or you utilize custom structure. In fact, if you truly want to grow your website through Google search engine, then the best settings that will work is having this custom structure. Yeah? But remember, once you set these permalink settings, then if you end up changing things, make sense? So if you end up changing it later, then you may run into trouble as far as not found. And search engines will also see that not found. Because everything as far as URL structure is concerned, each of these are different URLs, as in each of these are different resources on internet as far as search engines are concerned. So therefore, whichever one you choose, then just stick with that one. My recommendation to you would be to utilize a custom structure as such, category and the post name. You can set default category base, tag base here as well. Don't get confused about these. We'll explore the simplicity of it later on. So let's hit save changes. Now, this will not be there because this is the URL we just told WordPress to use. And that is what permalink settings are all about. You're more than welcome to read more about it and explore the common settings. I thank you for learning with me, and I'll talk to you in the next video session.